Can Homelander beat the Immortal? These two characters from their respective hero-superhero shows are often compared in versus debates. And while both seem powerful in their own universes, one of them operates on a completely different level. The Immortal from Invincible has feats that scale to godlike threats, while Homelander's dominance is over much weaker opponents. It begs the question, would Homelander stand a chance against the Immortal in a real fight? That's exactly what we are going to figure out. Starting out with who these characters actually are, because their backgrounds tell us a lot about what they can do. The Immortal is an ancient superhero in Invincible who has lived for millennia. He's led teams like the Guardians of the Globe, with a backstory including historical figures like Abraham Lincoln. The show reveals he's been a Celtic fighter, a medieval knight, and even Abraham Lincoln before his assassination. As the leader of the Guardians of the Globe, his backstory emphasizes enduring resilience and a commitment to protection shaped by repeated deaths and revivals that fuel his unyielding sense of duty. His experience spans centuries of combat. He's fought in countless wars, coordinated teams against planetary invasions, and faced threats that would level cities. That kind of experience creates tactical depth you can't teach. The Immortal knows how to fight smarter, not just harder. Every time he's been killed, he's been resurrected, coming back with the same memories, the same skills, and the same determination.
Why? Where is Omni-Man? Where is he?
Homelander from The Boys is completely different. He's a lab-created soup designed as a patriotic symbol by Vought International, raised in isolation with psychological issues stemming from experiments. His origins highlight isolation, abuse, and psychological instability, turning him into a narcissist tyrant who craves adoration while hiding vulnerabilities. Where the Immortal has millennia of real combat experience against legitimate threats, Homelander has dominated weaker opponents his entire life. He's never faced a true peer. His lack of true peers fosters arrogance, leading to losses when challenged. He fled from Soldier Boy when things got tough. That's not the mindset of someone ready for a real war. Let's break down what each of them can actually do, because the gap becomes obvious pretty quickly. The Immortal possesses immortality, super strength, flight, and regeneration, allowing him to survive decapitation and fight on par with Viltrumites briefly. His abilities include superhuman strength that injures Omni-Man and draws blood in Season 1, flight for maneuvering and aerial combat against Viltrumites, immortality surviving decapitation multiple times across seasons, regeneration healing from impalement and disembowelment in Season 2, nigh invulnerability enduring blows that level cities, super speed reacting to Omni-Man's attacks, and stamina fighting extended battles without fatigue. In Invincible Season 1, the Immortal trades blows with Omni-Man, gouging his eyes and surviving stomach punches before decapitation. That's fighting someone who can destroy entire planets. He only dies because Omni-Man gets the drop on him in a coordinated massacre of the Guardians. Season 2 shows him leading Guardians against threats like the Sequids, enduring impalements, and briefly holding off Omni-Man again. By Season 3, he battles evil Invincible variants, sustaining heavy injuries but persisting through PTSD. Homelander has super strength overpowering Soldier Boy and ripping apart Webweaver in Season 4, flight at supersonic speeds to intercept planes, heat vision bisecting terrorists and melting objects, X-ray vision seeing through walls except zinc, super hearing detecting lies from afar, durability surviving explosions and Temp V enhanced assaults, and stamina never tiring in fights. But here's the problem. Homelander's feats are against non-equals. In The Boys, he destroys a jet mid-flight in Season 1, overpowers multiple soups like Maeve and Butcher in Season 3, and massacres lab scientists in Season 4. But these are against people who aren't in his league. He struggles when matched, as with Soldier Boy's radiation blasts or Maeve's ear stab causing lasting pain. Homelander can hurt normal people easily. The Immortal fights beings that can destroy planets and survives. That's not the same ballpark. This is where the conversation should really end. Omni-Man's feats in Invincible are absolutely absurd compared to anything in the Boys universe. He flies through planets, conquers civilization single-handedly, survives in the vacuum of space indefinitely, and moves at speeds that make him blurry even to other super-powered beings. The Immortal can fight Omni-Man, not win, but fight and survive long enough to be a threat. He gouges out Omni-Man's eyes. He survives stomach punches that create shockwaves destroying buildings. That automatically puts the Immortal above Homelander. What's Homelander's best feat? Lasering a plane? Overpowering Maeve? Fighting Soldier Boy? None of these opponents are even close to Viltrumite level. Omni-Man vastly surpasses Homelander in every category, and the Immortal can hurt Omni-Man. The scaling is clear. Let's talk about what each character can actually survive. The Immortal survives decapitation in Season 1, gets resurrected and comes back at full strength. He endures impalement and disembowelment in Season 2, healing from injuries that puncture completely through his body. He tanks blows from Omni-Man that create shockwaves shattering buildings. His regeneration is an instant, but it's thorough. Given time, he recovers from almost anything short of complete disintegration. By season 3, he's fighting evil Invincible variants, alternate universe versions of Mark hitting with planetary level force, and the Immortal sustains heavy injuries but persists. His durability isn't just physical, it's mental. He doesn't break. Homelander survives explosions in season 1, but these are conventional explosives, not planet-busting attacks. He endures TemV enhanced assaults from Butcher and Soldier Boy in season 3, and he's clearly hurt by them. Most damning is Maeve's attack. She stabs a metal straw through his ear, and it causes lasting pain. That's not the durability of someone who can hang with Viltrumites. The Boys also shows Homelander bruised by Maeve's punches. When she fights him seriously, her hits leave marks. If her attacks can hurt him, what happens when someone who trades blows with Omni-Man hits him? The Immortal's millennia of combat experience give him strategic depth Homelander can't match. He's fought in every kind of battle imaginable. Sword fights as a Celtic warrior, medieval warfare as a knight, modern combat as a superhero, space battles against alien threats. As the leader of the Guardians of the Globe, he coordinates heroes against planetary invasions. That requires understanding tactics, predicting enemy movements, and making split-second decisions. In season 2, where he leads the Guardians against the Sequids, these coordinated alien parasites work with hive mind intelligence. The Immortal adapts his tactics mid-battle as the threat evolves. That's generalship. When he fights Omni-Man the second time, he's learned from the first encounter and changes his approach. Homelander has never needed tactics. His entire fighting style is overpower the opponent with superior strength and lasers. That works when you're fighting people weaker than you, but it's not a strategy. When he faces Soldier Boy and Butcher in season 3, he doesn't have a plan beyond kill them faster. When that doesn't work, he panics. Most telling is when Soldier Boy's radiation blasts hurt him. He retreats. Not a tactical retreat to regroup. He runs because he's not used to feeling pain. Compare that to the Immortal, who has literally died multiple times and keeps coming back. In a fight between them, Homelander would come in arrogant, expecting to dominate. The Immortal would come in prepared, having faced opponents far more dangerous. Let's walk through exactly why this matchup is so one-sided. Strength comparisons favor the Immortal by a huge margin. His clashes with Omni-Man create shockwaves that destroy city blocks. His punches draw blood from a Viltrumite. Homelander's strength feats are overpowering Soldier Boy and ripping apart Webweaver, who's basically a Spider-Man knockoff with no durability feats. When the Immortal punches something, it matters. Homelander's strikes look impressive because his opponents are weak. Speed creates another massive advantage. Yes, Homelander has supersonic flight and can intercept planes, but the Immortal reacts to and dodges Viltrumite strikes. Omni-Man moves at speeds that blur even to superpowered beings, and the Immortal can track those movements. Viltrumites fly through space at FTL speeds. The Immortal has aerial combat experience against these beings. Durability isn't even a contest. The Immortal regenerates from dismemberment, survives decapitation, and recovers from Omni-Man's gore-filled beatdowns. Homelander shows vulnerability to internal damage from Maeve's straw and Soldier Boy's radiation. The Immortal has been torn apart and put back together. Homelander gets his ear stabbed and it's a lasting injury. Experience and mindset create a psychological advantage. The Immortal has faced death multiple times and come back stronger. Homelander has dominated weaker opponents his entire life. When his superiority is questioned, he makes mistakes. The moment Homelander realizes he can't hurt the Immortal, that his heat vision isn't working, that his punches aren't landing with expected effect, his entire mental game collapses. Let's walk through how this fight would actually play out. In a speed battle, the Immortal's reflexes against Viltrumite blitzes would counter Homelander's supersonic flight, potentially ending with a decapitation Homelander couldn't survive. Homelander comes in fast, thinking speed gives him an advantage, but the Immortal has dodged Omni-Man. Homelander's supersonic flight is slow motion by comparison. The Immortal sidesteps, counters with a strike that actually hurts, and suddenly Homelander is on the defensive. A straight brawl sees the Immortal's regeneration outlasting Homelander's heat vision, which failed against durable foes like Maeve. Heat vision requires opponents without high-end durability. Maeve survives it in season 3, and she's nowhere near as durable as the Immortal. Meanwhile, the Immortal strikes draw blood from Omni-Man. Every punch lands with force, destroying city blocks, and because the Immortal can regenerate and Homelander can't, it becomes a war of attrition. The Immortal wins. Tactically, the Immortal's leadership experience exploits Homelander's rage issues. Homelander loses control when his ego is damaged. The Immortal would bait him into mistakes by challenging his superiority. Once Homelander is fighting emotionally instead of tactically, it's over. Environmental factors favor the Immortal's vacuum survival over Homelander's implied limits. If this fight happens in space, the Immortal has fought Viltrumites in space. Homelander's never been shown surviving in a vacuum for extended periods. Psychologically, the Immortal's resilience breaks Homelander's ego-driven facade. The moment Homelander realizes he can't intimidate someone who's died and come back, who doesn't fear him, who's genuinely more powerful, his worldview shatters. We saw what happened with Soldier Boy. Homelander panicked and fled. The Immortal is exponentially more dangerous, and that's why this isn't close. The Immortal from Invincible significantly outclasses Homelander from the Boys in a hypothetical matchup. His feats scaling to threats like Omni-Man make the fight decisively one-sided in in his favor. The Immortal's ability to injure Omni-Man, who vastly surpasses Homelander, gives him overwhelming advantages in durability and experience. Homelander's attacks would be ineffective against someone who regenerates from Viltrumite beatdowns. His heat vision fails against durable foes. His strength can't match someone who trades blows with planet conquerors. His speed looks impressive until you realize the Immortal dodges attacks from beings moving at relativistic speeds. The Immortal's superior durability and strength render Homelander's attacks ineffective, though Homelander's speed and heat vision could pose initial challenges without altering the overall outcome. He might land a few hits at the start, but the second the Immortal gets serious, the fight is over. The verdict is clear. The Immortal wins. Not just wins, dominates. This isn't a competitive fight. This is a veteran warrior with millennia of experience putting down a bully who's never faced a real challenge. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click this video now.